Hey, this is Sean McGarry.
And this is Noah Hunt.
And we are in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's Stanley's Pub, to be exact, in historic East End. And this is kind of where it all started for you, Mr. Noah, right?
It is.
So we're going to go inside today. Thank God inside, because it's cool as hell out. And we're going to talk about your awesome career in music and all kinds of stuff. So let's go check it out, man.
Let's do it.
After you, sir. Dude, good to see you, brother.
It's great to see you, man.
Man, we're back where it all kind of started for you.
I know, look at this place.
Yeah, bring back a lot of memories.
It does, it does.
Some you can't remember, some you can, right?
Yes. For some reason I can remember it all.
That's a good thing. So I'm going to jump right into it, man. So you and I go way back.
We do, to the 80s.
So I don't know how much you remember about that, but we met, I think it was my sophomore year of high school. I think I was still at McNicholas High School.
That sounds right.
And we had a band called The Invasion, right? Do you remember that we were called The Invasion?
Yeah, I do, of course I do.
Okay, I don't know how much that you remember.
I remember that, and you know the Bob and Tom show, the syndicated radio show, they always say, I've been on that a few times, they always say, what's the name of your first band? And they always make me say it. I'll say The Invasion, and they just laugh.
Do you really say that?
Yeah, they laugh.
That's cool, man.
They say that's the dumbest name we've gotten so far.
We got to realize it was the 80s,
I know.
heavy metal, right? Yeah. And you had a great voice back then. I don't remember how good the band was. I think we played a couple of field parties and stuff. But
I think we were all right. We were all right.
We're good enough, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
jump. You were, this guy, though, he was one of the few guys that could play Eruption. So
see, I can't play it now, so I don't remember playing it. Well, I think you guys were just easily impressed back then.
Probably.
Yeah.
The only person I know that can still play it now is Dweezil Zappa. So
exactly.
I'm sure plenty of people on YouTube can. I'm just saying.
That you know personally, yeah. Okay, so I want to get right into this. So after, I hadn't seen you for a few years after the Invasion thing, right? Yeah. And we kind of went our separate ways. I don't know what broke the band up. I think maybe just aging or something, getting older.
Yeah,
maybe getting
probably.
our license, maybe.
Probably. We got distracted.
We got distracted, yeah. But so then I remember picking up, we hadn't talked in a while, and you were in Uncle Six.
Yeah.
So that was a huge band. Like, I remember you guys were like the shit in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, that started after I got done with college. I went to Miami University up the road here from Cincinnati. And, I had moved back here to town, and I had told everyone I was going to give a shot at being a musician. So it seemed possible then, because you remember back in the early 90s, there were a lot of bands that were actually getting signed out of here.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I moved down, and I started that band with some guys, and with the intention of trying to get a record deal.
I thought you did, or you guys came dangerously close, if not, right?
We did. We got with a management company called Immigrant Music, which was owned by a guy named Bill Skull.
Yeah, Bill.
You remember him?
I know Bill, and I went to school with his daughter.
His daughter, right.
Yeah.
And Bill was a larger-than-life character.
He was a heavy hitter, man.
He actually came and saw me when I was playing here. I lived right up the street from this place, Stanley's Pub. And
we're in the East End of
Cincinnati. In the East End, yeah.
Cincinnati.
Now it's called Columbia Tusculum.
Yeah.
Back then it was the East End.
Yeah.
And every Thursday night I started playing here, and it became kind of a thing. And it was packed. I brought another guy in, a guy named Jason Denny, who I've made some records with. He's an incredible. He was like Billy Strings before Billy Strings.
Yeah, he was great, man. I remember him.
And so we would play down here, and a guy named Gary Burbank, who was on the radio.
Of course, Gary.
Legendary. He came in here one night, saw me and Jason, was impressed, told Bill Skull about it, as they were friends. And Bill Skull...
And by the way, Gary was a guitar aficionado, if not a player.
He was a great drummer, actually.
Okay, yeah. I sold him a guitar at Buddy Rogers years ago. Yeah. Sorry, so go ahead.
And so Bill Skull came in, and said, hey, and Bill Skull, we should explain, was the biggest independent record promoter in the country at the time. And
back when they still did independent record promoting.
They did. So
he was huge.
What they would do, the record companies would say, we want you to get this song played. Here's all this money.
Yep.
Go to the radio station and get it played. And so that's what he did. And he was starting this management company.
Was it Tri-State Promotions?
Tri-State Promotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was his record promotion thing. And his management company was called Immigrant. And they were doing mostly like hip hop, R&B. But he really liked me and believed in me. And so he signed me onto the thing.
That's pretty incredible.
I had this English manager. My guy was a guy named Rick Waring.
Okay.
So, you know.
A British dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still see sometimes over in England. So we were all set. We had the management. He had all the connections, and he, you know, got us. They started doing management things to me, making me write with people and trying to get my stuff together. Got some demos made, and eventually got some label, you know, interest.
Sure.
It all kind of culminated in, I think it was 1995. There was this big festival downtown here called Jammin' on Main.
I remember it well. I remember playing there many years.
And a guy from Atlantic Records came and saw us, and it was a big success. And he offered me a deal, but not the band.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, I ended up going with RCA because I wanted to bring the band.
Yeah.
So, looking back, I should have signed with Atlantic. I even told that guy that years later when I saw him again. But
you had loyalty to the band, though, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
I wanted it. You know, I was very idealistic.
Sure.
You know, I wanted my band to make.
A band's a band, yeah.
So RCA signed me to what was called a spec deal at the time, so where they could develop me a little more.
Gotcha.
So it was while I was doing that, I would go to New York and Philadelphia and make demos and stuff and write with people. And in the midst of that, I got a phone call at Tri-State Promotions got a phone call from the Kenny Wayne Shepherd people through a mutual friend, a guy that we knew called Bill Williams.
Bill Williams.
He was a photographer.
Okay.
There's a famous shot of Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's called Last Call, where he's got the guitar behind his back. Like, that's one of Bill's
I think
shots.
that's hanging in my studio, actually.
Yeah, it's a very famous.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was friends with Kenny's dad and friends with Bill Skull, so we kind of hooked up that way.
No way.
So in the midst...
Because I was going to ask you, I never knew how you got hooked up, so...
So they said, you know, we're looking for a singer. And I had actually had Kenny's first record.
Yeah.
It's heavily influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan, who I loved. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, and I was kind of spinning, I felt like I was spinning my wheels with my RCA thing at the time. So I asked Bill, I said, can I go down and check this out? And he said, yeah, you can. And Kenny's A&R guy knew my A&R guy, and they said, oh yeah, go check it out. So I went down there, flew down to Louisiana, and they had a whole you know, audition thing set up. 4 or 5 people, and I sat there and biding my time, waiting. And I knew it was going to be good because I'm watching him play. It's like, this is the kind of guy. He's playing guitar how I've always heard someone should play it, you know. And so when it came my time to play, I said, hey, can we just do a blues song first? He said, yeah. And so we just broke into, you know, Every Day I Have the Blues.
Okay.
And that was like, we both knew right then.
That was it. Yeah. So you knew instantly, right?
We kind of knew instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went out and we stayed out all night, came back and did it again. And we've been together ever since.
How soon afterward did he offer you the gig?
Just like a couple days, or like the next day.
You know, hindsight's 20/20, right? But did you project how big you guys would be and this longevity of this career that you have?
No, I didn't. But
which is amazing, by the way. You know, it really is.
When Kenny and I, we plan. You know, you ask us, we planned on it. Because especially if you asked us back then, because we were young, we were full of confidence.
Sure.
Which I think helped us a lot, actually. But yeah, we didn't know it would be like that. But I was interested in joining, in being in a band, or, you know, that was going to be for life, you know, or
a career, right?
Right, and I was starting to kind of, another reason, like I was getting disenfranchised with the whole record deal that I had, was that some of my friends had kind of already cycled out. Like the Verve Pipe, some friends of mine, they had a huge hit, and their second record came, and then they were basically already almost going back into clubs.
Yeah.
And I'm like in 2 years or something, and I'm like, I don't want to do that.
The music business is cruel, man. It'll spit you out real quick, right?
So I saw an opportunity with him. His first record had already went gold.
I didn't know that.
So it was like, yeah, which was really weird. It's like all of a sudden I've joined a band and I'm instantly a rock star, because I've never even done anything, but I'm already in a band that's had top 5 singles and a platinum,
It's pretty remarkable looking back.
Gold
right?
record, yeah. So I thought that we could keep making music for a long time.
And you have.
Together, yeah.
So the array of artists that you played with is just mind-boggling, and there's a
Yeah.
couple I want to ask you about specifically.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick two or three of your favorites, like that you're just like, I can't believe I'm on stage with these artists, who would it be?
Well, Ringo comes to mind.
I didn't know that.
Ringo, Joe Walsh, Paul Rodgers.
Wow.
I never shared the stage, but I toured with Bob Dylan and hung out with him several times back in the day, which was surreal.
That is surreal.
I didn't know
Have
what
you
to
seen the movie
say.
yet, by the way?
Well, I did. I went with my dad
Okay.
and my family the day after Christmas.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you guys toured with Bob.
We did, and and we hung out several times. And I never knew what to say, so we would just talk about our dogs.
That's good stuff to talk about.
And somebody said, "Man, that was really cool, man. You just talked about his dog." I said, "I didn't know what else to say."
Yeah. So, okay, that's huge. And I did want to ask you, because, man, you recorded and played with Double Trouble.
Oh, yeah, and Chris Layton is still in our band.
Yeah.
Still our drummer.
Yeah.
After all these years.
So, to me, that's about as big as it gets. I mean, I'm
Me
a huge
too.
Stevie,
I mean,
Stevie's probably if I had to pick, Stevie and Eddie are my 2 favorite all time. And I always say this to people, like, Eddie's probably my favorite guitar player, not that anybody cares. But I think if aliens came down or dropped down to this world and say, this is the prototype perfect guitar player, Stevie Ray Vaughan would be my guitar player I would pick.
Yeah, I could see that.
So,
and I used to go, and like you, back in the 80s, I'd go and watch those guys play every summer. We'd tour around and follow them,
Yeah.
and years later, I'm in a band with these guys, and it's still surreal.
It's surreal. It has to be,
still
yeah.
is, yeah.
I never blow smoke up anybody's, but unless I really mean it. But you truly have, and I've had this conversation with many musicians, literally around the country in different realms of whatever, and you arguably have one of the best voices in music, man. And
thanks,
so,
man.
how does that feel like for you to be talked about by people like that revered? Your voice is it's so iconic and so distinctive, man. It's amazing.
I'm eternally grateful, and I'm humbled. I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
It comes from God. I truly believe that. Sometimes everybody's good at something.
That's true. And nobody sounds like you, and you don't sound like anybody else, which to me is very, very rare. There's very few singers that nobody has emulated or copied, or singers that and I can tell you might be a little uncomfortable talking about this, which is cool. I appreciate humbleness from people, and you truly are, man. Like, you're still a Cincinnati boy at heart and stuff, but no, your voice is iconic and it's huge, man. When you hear you sing live, it's like it's powerful, man. It moves people, and
Yeah.
people love that, man. And it's admirable. So I don't know. I could sit here and toot your horn for a while, but I want to ask you who your influences were.
Well, I mean, I think it won't come as a surprise. I mean, growing up, my first favorite band when I was a little kid was the Beatles.
Okay, well
I was maybe 4 years old, and I had my own record player.
Yeah.
And I got tired of that, so I would go into my parents' record collection, and I'd get out their records and put it on the thing.
That's awesome.
And scratch them all up. And
I did the same thing, by the way.
of course you did.
Yeah.
So that was my first favorite, and I loved them. And then I got a little older, and I was all about the Who and the Stones. Man, I turned a teenager.
Yes.
And then when I started to teach myself guitar when I was 16, I started to get into like the Allman Brothers and Eric Clapton and the more classic rock guitar.
The soul, I can definitely hear your soulful influences.
Yeah, so guys like Greg Allman, Paul Rodgers,
Sure.
Muddy Waters,
Of course.
who is one of the greatest singers.
And I did hear a rumor, I'm not sure if it's true or not, that Paul Rodgers is actually a fan of yours. Is that
He's
correct?
a friend. Yeah, he's actually a friend.
Not a friend, but a fan. Like,
Well, yeah. So he says. I hope he
which is
means
huge.
it.
Yeah, and I've had some strange, you know how you have strange conversations about just random stuff with people, and you know I've had this conversation with some guys once. We were just talking about I think it was like Johnny Miracle and Alex. We were talking about like if Bad Company ever needed a singer, like who would they get? Well, you would be the only guy that could fill that role. So
I could do it. But
you could do it, yeah.
Yeah, Paul. You know, my first big tour that I did, I joined the band with Kenny. We moved to California. We started recording Trouble Is, and we stopped recording and got on a summer tour with Leonard Skinner. So that was my first real tour.
No way, that's pretty cool.
But it was Paul Rogers, then us, then Leonard Skinner, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is happening in the world? What is happening to my life?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Why am I on in front of Paul Rogers? That never felt right.
Well,
but
it happens. Yeah.
That's how we met.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Over the years we've been friends.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys have toured with just about everybody, like we talked about, and I'm sure you have some pretty crazy stories and a lot of cool friends.
Yeah.
You've obtained, right?
Yeah.
So, man, I have to ask you. You toured with Van Halen. You know, what year was that?
Well, the first time I met Eddie was in 1998, and we did that whole tour with them. And Gary Sharon was the singer on that tour. Remember that? Yeah.
I do.
But I
love Gary.
I know Gary was great, and I still see Gary sometimes.
It's incredible.
And amazing singer. But Mike and I hit it off first.
Okay.
Mike and I hit it off, and then I met Eddie a little bit into the tour.
Was he hard to kind of get with, or?
He was a little bit. He was still partying a little bit then, so he was in and out of it. But we always got along great, and he always I could tell he really liked me. You know, I was like you. You know, I was really starstruck anytime I was around him, especially then. But then over the years, I'd see him, and then he was always so great to me. Flash forward to 2015, we did their final tour with them, and
I remember
I got to spend a lot of quality time with Ed, and
that's surreal to me. I don't get starstruck, but Eddie's the one person I would have always loved to have met, man.
I know, and we always, you know, you see Ed in the press and how he is, and he's just kind of an enigma. He's an asshole, or he'll say something weird over here.
Right.
He's just not like that in real life, you know. And I'd ask him sometimes. I'm like, Ed, why did you say that? He's like, just screwing around. I'm just trolling them. They don't know, you know. But
I mean, what an honor to have those memories of you and Eddie Van Halen. Man.
I know. I mean, you can ask my wife. Every time he saw me, he would grab me and kiss me, which. That was his thing. Okay. It was always kind of weird, you know. I was like,
I'm pretty jealous of that. I'm not gonna lie right now.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I loved Eddie.
That's pretty cool.
I really miss him.
Yeah. The world does. Yeah.
I know.
So I've been dying to ask you that, man. You know, because I know you toured with those guys and you knew him. So.
He was a wonderful person.
Yep.
And I think if the aliens came down, I may point to Eddie. You know, as the.
I think the whole world might point to Eddie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's coming up here. Let's talk about it. Blue on Black. Did you have any idea that song would be? Did you guys have any idea that song would be as huge as it is?
No. That was when that song was done when I joined the band. I think we came up with a bridge for it, but
so
most of it was done.
Written?
Yeah.
Okay.
A guy named Mark Selby, who's unfortunately no longer with us. He had cancer. He's an incredible poet, incredible songwriter, and a lady named Tia Sillers.
Okay.
They wrote that with Kenny, and then I came along, and I came up with a bridge later. But Kenny even said, "Do you think the song's bluesy enough for us to do?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I can make it a little bluesier, you know, or whatever."
Yeah.
So we gave it a whirl, and it just happened, you know. It just became this incredible track. We did it late one night up in Sausalito and sent it down to LA, and they were just raving about it.
Well, and I watched an interview recently with you guys, you and Kenny, and I think the story went something like Chris, the Double Trouble guys were recording, but it almost didn't happen because they had to catch a flight or something. It was like
we had been tracking all week, and they were like, let's give this one a whirl. Jerry Harrison, our producer.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, we got to go to the airport. And they're like, oh, okay. And you know, we were doing it, they were doing it, and he's like, it was almost there, they're changing the beat a little bit, and they're like, we've got to go, you know, and he's like, no, one more take. And yeah, we were like they were like
Out the door,
out
yeah.
the door, you know. And
But it was almost a one-take kind of thing, right?
it pretty much, yeah. And then I was singing on this SM a 57, which I never even used. I came back months later and tried to top it, and couldn't do it. That's pretty much just the.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those songs that I think 100, 1,000 years from now, it's just one of those songs that's going to be. Everybody knows it. It's a classic. It's a classic rock song.
It became
now.
a classic rock song.
And you know, funny thing is, including myself, if I had $1 for every time I played it, in a bar band or acoustically, and it's like, does my buddy know him? You know, I always, of course, have to brag a little bit, right? I know the guys singing the song, but it's got to be funny. Like you guys probably walk into a place, out of town, or see somebody hear that playing it, and then like bands covering it. What do you think about that? Five Finger Death Punch. What's that mean?
Five Finger Death Punch. You know. We always thought Kenny and I would talk about that. We always thought somebody would cover it.
Yeah.
Maybe a country artist.
Yeah.
Or an Americana artist. And he said, "Hey, the Five Finger Death Punch want to cover this song." I'm like, "What? Really? Cool."
Sure.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's a cool take on it, man.
Yeah, I love it.
And what an honor. I mean, anybody that wants to cover anything you've written, I think is a pretty cool thing. Right?
Yeah, very cool. And I loved it. I told the guys I thought it was great.
Well, it'd be an honor for me if I could play this song with you.
Well, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Can we do it?
Of course.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
I also watched the video of you guys at, I think it was like a Guitar Center sessions.
Yeah.
And there's not many videos out there, by the way, of you guys just doing this acoustically. There's only a couple that I saw.
Yeah, there are.
Because he switches to electric. You are acoustic, but he's...
Yeah, I mean, we do it on like radio stations.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's where I saw it. But I saw something so fucking funny, man. He was talking about people that play it wrong. Like he goes on YouTube and watches guys teach it. And he's like, "Don't play the F sharp in the D major," which is number one. So don't play that. And then you were like, "What about the shirtless guy on this couch?" So tell me about that, man. What was that? Who was that?
There's a video of a guy. Dude doesn't have
I looked for it, by the way.
He may have taken it down. He didn't have a shirt on, and he said, "I'm going to show you all how to play Blue on Black," and he doesn't do it right. And but it's and a lot of people. I think somehow we became aware of it. Maybe Kenny even posted on the thing, and a lot of people watched it. I remember the guy saying. If I knew Kenny was going to see this, I would have worn a shirt. But
that's classic, dude. Well,
I'm surprised that if you can find that.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, I'm definitely keeping my shirt on today.
Me too.
For the sake of everybody. All right. All right.
1, 2, 3, go. Night falls and I'm alone. Skin, yeah, chilled me to the bone. And you turned and you ran. Oh yeah, oh slip right from my hand. Hey, blue on black, tears on the river, push on a shove, it don't mean much. Joker on Jack, match on a fire, cold on ice, it's a dead man's touch. Whisper on a scream, doesn't change a thing, doesn't bring you back. Yeah, yeah. Blue on black. Oh yeah. Blue on black. Blind. Oh, now I see. The truth It lies and in between. Wrong can't be undone. Oh no, oh, slipped from the tip of your tongue. Hey, blue on black, tears on the river, a push on the shove, it don't mean much. Choker on Jack, match on the fire, cold on ice, it's a dead man's touch. Whisper on a stream doesn't change a thing, doesn't bring you back. Yeah, blue on black, oh yeah, blue on black. Hey, blue on black, tears on the river, a push on a shove, it don't mean much. Choker on Jack, match on the fire, cold on ice, it's a dead man's touch. Whisper on a screen doesn't change a thing, doesn't bring you back. Yeah, blue on black. Oh, blue on black. Oh, blue on black. Blue on black.
So that was super cool. What
Yeah,
an honor.
man,
Thank
it
you,
was
thank
great.
you so much,
It
man.
was
That was
great.
awesome. Pleasure. Long way from our
Long way from the
the
invasion.
Trooper and the we would play the Trooper and some Iron Maiden stuff. Yeah, there you go. But you know, so Kenny Wayne truly is one of my all-time favorite guitar players. I mean, I am a
Me
huge
too.
Kenny fan.
Yeah, me too.
And you know, it's funny because I think when he first came out, everybody's like, "Oh, he's a Steve Ray Vaughan ripoff." It's like, well, first of all, fucking A, if you're a Steve Ray Vaughan ripoff,
Yeah.
rip off the greatest guitar player of all time.
Right.
So that shit is out the way. I get tired when people, critics. But he developed his own style.
That's where he started.
Yeah, that's where he started. But
Yeah.
that was 30 years ago, right?
Yeah,
he's grown up.
He's come
all
a long
grown up.
way since then.
But it's rock and roll. But you know, so my girlfriend and I, we take these long motorcycle rides in the summer, all over the country actually. And you know, we have a little playlist, and the Trailer is on the list, and we've worn that album out. So when you're on the two wheels, man, you're just cruising down these back roads in Tennessee or up in the mountains of New York. We listen to the Trailer, and it's like, you know, so I have
what it's
fond
for.
memories of you because you're my buddy, and then you know, just listen to that music, man, is just such a joy for me. It's and that's what music's about, man. It's like these memories that I'll always have, you know,
Yeah.
for your voice and that album. And so anyway, just man, you know, Kenny's just such a great player. He's one of my all-time favorites, and it's just it's so cool for me to be here, you know, with you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
This is really cool, and we'd like to thank Bill O'Donnell for
Absolutely.
letting us come in here early.
And I want to ask you what this place means to you, because like I said, you kind of got your start here.
It means a lot. I've had so many good memories down here. You know, we were young, had the world in front of us, and I'm just grateful it's still here.
Yeah,
you know?
I know I asked you that earlier, but like,
Yeah.
you know, now we've been here for a bit. It's like, it's a great place, and this is an institution in Cincinnati, man. It's it really is. Stanley's is a
glad.
great place, and they still have great live music. And
They do.
If you're in Cincinnati or come to Cincinnati, make sure you check out Stanley's. It's an institution here in Cincinnati, and we're grateful to be here today
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
this beautiful blustery winter day. You want to do another song, man?
Well, we're gonna do a blues song that we used to play down here. Kenny and I still play it in our set today, but King B, Willie Dixon.
Okay.
I'm a king, baby. I'm buzzing around your hive. Well, I'm a king, baby. I'm buzzing around your hive. Yes, I can make you honey, baby. Just let me come inside. I'm a king, baby. Don't you want to be my queen? Yeah, I do shit like that. Well, I'm a king, baby. Don't you want to be my queen? Yes, I can make you honey, baby, like the world ain't never seen. Show them what I'm talking about, Sean. Come on. Well, I'm a king, baby. I'll buzz you all night long. Well, I'm a king, baby. I'll buzz you all night long. Yes, I can buzz you better, baby, when your other man is gone. That's when I want you to come see me, baby. Come on. Yeah. Buzzing around your hive. I'm a king, baby. I'm buzzing around your hive. But I can make you honey bee. Just let me come inside. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's all right.
All right.
Stanley's Pub.
All right. So, I got to ask you too, man. I mean, you're a Cincinnati boy at heart, but you stuck around Cincinnati. I'm just curious, you probably could be living anywhere in the world right now.
Well, I've lived around. I used to live in California. I lived in Austin for a little while, but you get off the road and it just never felt like home.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to be closer to my family, my
Sure.
parents. My parents are still around, and, it just
Your
felt
dad
like
comes to the
time.
shows. I see him.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Dad's great, yeah.
So, it just felt like it's home.
It is home. This is a great town. There's a lot to offer. And you've got some great musicians, so I did want to ask you, too, about the 420 All-Stars. What's going on with that?
Well, we don't play anymore. I do still play with Scotty Bratcher.
Yeah.
Who's an incredible guitar
He's
player.
amazing, yes.
So when I do local stuff or solo stuff, I usually just use his backing band.
Yeah. And you've used Johnny Miracle and Alex,
John
my
Miracle,
buddies. Yes.
and I still play with them when I can.
Yeah.
It's just been a while. It's hard to find the time.
So no reunion?
Well, hopefully someday.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully someday.
And so what else is in your plans for the future? Obviously Kenny's your full-time gig, but do you anything you want to accomplish or do that you haven't done musically?
Well, maybe put out I got another solo acoustic record.
Yeah.
Put out maybe. Kenny and I, we just put out a record in November. We're going to tour on that, and it's going to be the 30th anniversary of his first record, Ledbetter Heights. So we've re-recorded that, and that's an album I didn't sing on originally. So we're going to do the 30th anniversary of it, where I'm singing it all.
That's incredible.
So that's going to come out, I think, later this year.
Wow, that's exciting. I didn't know that.
And then we have another record already ready for the year after that.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Well, the records are just getting better, in my opinion, man. The music is great. It's timeless, and it's fantastic. I know that the fans still enjoy it. I enjoy it. You're still doing great with shows, selling out shows.
We're still doing it. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful I haven't ever had to get a real job in all these years.
Hey, there's still time. I'll find a job for you. But and the last thing I want to ask you, man, what are these Hendrix tours like? I mean, it's these amazing guitar players.
It's great. It's like a rock star summer camp. And mix in Zakk Wylde, and he's a larger than life character.
Yes, he is. I know I'll be at the one in Cincinnati this year. I look forward to it. Probably hit a couple on the road.
I'll hook you up.
Yo, man, it's been such a pleasure and an honor, man.
Yes.
This has been great. You're a true treasure of Cincinnati. We're glad to have you still here, man.
Thanks,
People can catch you around.
Thanks.
So, once again, this is Sean and Noah at Stanley's Pub in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you guys for watching.